There are stories and there are games. Sometimes you can play in a story, and that's called interactive fiction. Within the wide world of interactive fiction, there's a type of game called a role-playing game. Now, you've heard of this, of course, Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder and that sort of thing. But within role-playing games, there are those brave adventurers who go alone in solo role-playing games. I know what you might be thinking. Role-playing by yourself? Well, I'm one of these adventurers, so perhaps I'm biased when I say it's brave, but there's a whole different style to this play that tends to be much more focused on the narrative than on the mechanics. Zooming down into that, there is a genre of games called solo journaling role-playing games. And this is a really fun way to play because when you play by yourself, it can be very ephemeral. It's just gone when you're done. Whereas when you play with a table of people, you have those memories with your friends and you can kind of remind each other of what happened. So the journaling solo RPG gives you a tangible record of your adventure. Within this world of solo journaling RPGs, there is a game that spawned a whole category of games. And that game is The Wretched. I'm going to play this tonight. I have not read any of this. So the very first thing that's going to happen is that we're going to explore the rule book together and get a sense for what this is and how it works. And then we're going to grab our trusty deck of cards, perhaps a journal, though I'm recording, so this kind of is my journal, and a block tower? I don't know. Let's find out. The Wretched. So The Wretched is a game by Chris Bissette, and it has beautiful artwork. Now, Wretched and Alone, that's that genre of games I was talking about. So there's The Wretched. That's this game that we're going to look at tonight. But there's a whole category of games that this has spawned called Wretched and Alone. And what I want to do is I want to play this game, sort of the mother of them. And then I want to play a series of these Wretched and Alone games to get a sense of what's out there. I won't be able to cover them all because there really are hundreds of these things. But we're starting with where it came from, The Wretched. Okay, so now let's get to sort of the meat of what this game is about. You are the last surviving crew member of the intergalactic salvage ship, The Wretched. Adrift between stars after an engine failure, your ship was attacked by a hostile alien life form. The crew are dead. You are alone. You thought you had won. You launched the creature out of an airlock, and that should have meant safety. It didn't. The creature survived, somehow immune to the cold, empty black of space. Now it skitters and crawls across the hull of your ship. It seeks a way in. It wants you. Now it is you versus inevitability. Can you keep your life support systems going long enough to repair your distress beacon? With the beacon activated, can you keep the creature at bay long enough to be rescued? Assuming somebody hears your cry. Probably not, but you have to try. So how do we play this? We're going to need a standard deck of cards with no jokers. So let me pull out the jokers here. Won't be needing these guys. Boom. We'll need a single 6-sided die. Okay. Or more dice. I think I need to run upstairs and grab some dice. Be right back. Haha. A gamer without a pack of dice. What kind of gamer would I be? All right, so we got a single 6-sided die. Love that sound of dice in a pack. All right. So, 10 tokens of some kind. What can I use as tokens? Well, let's see here. I know what I'll do. I don't have 10 tokens, but I do have some dice. Really should have grabbed my polyhedral dice, but I'll just move up the pips on these 2 red dice as my tokens. And I will need a block tower. All right, well, so I've already got that set up behind me. Sure, this is home. I might have to move it right here in front of the camera. Drama already. All right. Scary. Okay, so I have a tower. Now, let's see. We'll need a way to record our game. That's easy. I'm recording the game. All right, there's only 2 ways out of the situation, and each is more unlikely than the last. could activate the distress beacon, survive long enough for someone to hear it, and then continue to survive long enough for them to get to you. Or you could fix your engines and leave the creature drifting in your wake. And you could fail in a multitude of ways. Cool. So before we get started, I should note that having not played this game, I don't really know if there's going to be spoilers, but I do know that it uses some sort of like story prompts or like plot prompts. So it's possible there will be spoilers in the game. Don't forget to subscribe or hit that like button if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're a patron watching this on Patreon, really appreciate you. Thanks for making this kind of content possible. All right, let's see what happens next. All right, so we're going to roll the die, roll this here die, and I'm going to complete that many pulls from the tower and replacing them on the top row. Okay, so basically we're setting up just how bad of condition my ship is in. So here we go. Oh, easy peasy. Guys, we got this. Wretched and alone. I'm more like in pretty good shape and around because I rolled a 1. So I think I'm going to go for this token or this piece here. No problem. Okay, what else? So if it falls at any time, catastrophic systems failure, I'm dead. Okay, no problem. Shuffle the deck. Yep, we got that. Here we go. I'm going to record your first audio log. All right, so this one's scripted, I guess. Here we go. Day 1. Salvage ship, the Wretched. Flight engineer, Brian Hazard, reporting. The other members of the crew are dead, and the engines remain non-operational. Though ship integrity remains good and life support systems are still active. I successfully jettisoned the intruder from the airlock, but it remains alive and continues to try to access the ship. With a little luck, I can repair the distress beacon, and somebody will pick me up. This is Brian Hazard, the last survivor of the Wretched, signing off. So this is how the game works, the flow of it. It's divided into phases representing days. So phase 1 will be the tasks. Phase 2 will be the log. I'm going to roll the die, draw that number of cards from the deck, and turn them over one by one, it looks like. So I'll refer to the operations manual, which I assume is the rest of the book, and do what it asks me to do. And when I've completed all the tasks, I'll discard those and go on to the log. For the log, I'll just think about what's happened and record my message. The operations manual, and I think it has something for each card. At a high level, it looks like hearts represent the ship systems. Diamonds represent the ship's physical structures. Clubs represent the crew. Spades represent the creature. And then we get right into the prompts. Cool. All right. So I am rolling the die for day 2. What are my tasks? Here we go. 5 tasks. Let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So my first task is going to be Jack of Clubs. All right. You gather together the bodies of the crew you were closest to and seal them in the remaining airlock, saying a few words of remembrance over their bodies, but you can't quite bring yourself to jettison them. What words do you say? Why is it so hard to send them out into space? See, this is the prompt thing. Like, even though I'm probably going to have some spoilers in this, how you would interpret this and like apply your own story to this would completely change the gameplay. So let's see. This is the crew I'm closest to, and gathered them up. All I have to do is push this button and they will float off into the black of space, and I just can't do it. And why can't I do it? Maybe the Wretched was kind of a family business. And, it's like my uncle and cousins that brought me into this. So, there's more people. It's not just them. It's a larger sort of operation, but it's my uncle and his 2 sons and his daughter are the ones that I'm closest to. And, I have fond memories of growing up. I always looked forward to being on the ship with them. And I always looked forward to being part of the crew. And here we are. But I never in a million years could have seen this happening. This is the way that it ends. And it's just very hard for me to send them out into the black. But ultimately, it's the honorable way to see them off. So I'm going to do it. But the problem is if I push this button maybe it would let the creature in. So I'm just really hoping that doesn't happen. So now I need to pull from the tower to make sure I don't die immediately. So I'm going to go right here. Put that on top. There we go. So that task is done. Next, got the 7 of diamonds. The many skirmishes with the creature caused a huge amount of internal structural damage. You spend a day tracking down all the issues you can find and fixing them as best you can. Okay, so yeah, this creature is obviously something big and formidable if it was able to do this much damage. So I had to patch like literal holes in the hull and all kinds of physical structures that threatened the structural integrity. This thing could collapse in on me. Here we go. I'm going to go with this one. Oh, that was a bad move. Oh, no. And so it's kind of a perilous job to patch a ship that you're depending on for your life, right? Without causing problems. Anyway, next, the Queen of Hearts. Okay. The door lock system fails while you are in the bridge, and you have to spend a few hours forcing the doors open so you can get out. Oh, man. Okay, so maybe one of the structures I had to fix was literally there was a hole breached, very small, just a pinhole on the bridge. And so I went there, floated through the sort of low gravity environment onto the bridge, and then the doors, Star Trek style, opened up, and I went to the bridge, patched up that hole. But when I went to leave the doors, I had trouble getting them open. So now let's make sure I'm pulling from a low one, so you're not going to be able to see it. Let's make sure I'm able to actually get the door open. So there we go. Okay. Next up is the 8 of diamonds. And diamonds again was physical structures. So there's just a lot of repairs to do right now. A fire starts in one of the engines while you are attempting to get the ship going again. You're forced to jettison it. I have to jettison one of the engines. Oh, man. So, I was hoping to get this thing up and running, and that's not looking really good right now if I'm jettisoning one of the engines. So I'm going to go and pull kind of low again, hoping this works out for me. Oh, geez, another bad. Ooh, but another bad choice. Oh, Brian, why did you do that? Oh, okay, so this is a perilous thing. It makes sense, right? Because oh, geez, I think I have to focus. Oh, no, I don't want to die on my first day. Let's see if I can pull on it this way. I'm being very carefully, but also trying to move fast because I got to get this fire. Oh, no. I think I'm dead, guys. This is not good. Okay, come on. Oh, I've just made a poor choice. It's like the fire's spreading or something, because this is a mess. It's like really wedged in there. Oh, God. Okay, so I decide to try a different tactic. I'm breaking the rules here. I'm going for a different block, because if I take that one, we're dead on day one. That one came out easy. So it's kind of like, my guy Brian Hazard, was trying to jettison it one way. And ultimately I just, I decided to do more damage to the ship to just get it the heck off the ship because the way I was trying to get it out there, the whole ship would have gone up in flames. All right. So next up is the King of Clubs, and clubs is the crew. As you were passing the officer's mess, you tried to avert your eyes from the carnage inside, but you're sure you saw something move amongst the bodies of your crewmates. What do you think it was? Okay, so the King of Clubs, it says, do not discard this card. Place it where you can see it. This is the 4th king you've drawn. The creature has gained access to the Wretched and has finally found you. The game is over. So that's my first king. I hope I don't get other kings. All right, so what do I think it was? What could it have been? I think my mind is playing tricks on me, and I just jettisoned my uncle and my cousins, and this, I'm going to call her Jane. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw this movement, and I could have sworn it was Jane, my youngest cousin. But when I look, there's nothing there, just the many maimed bodies of the rest of the crew. And so that is day 2, so I need to record my log now. Day 2, salvage ship, the Wretched. Flight engineer Brian Hazard reporting. Today I tried to patch the many failing systems aboard the ship and the hundreds of pinholes that the environment is seeping out of, threatening to kill me slowly on this ship. I got trapped on the bridge while trying to fix one of those holes. I thought for sure that I was going to die in there, feeling trapped, ironically, in infinite expanse of emptiness. But I did get it open. And when I did, I was rewarded only with the sound of alarms. One of the engines had caught fire. And while I had hoped to repair that engine, in fact, I'd made some investments in trying to repair it. It was now aflame. Perhaps it's my fault. Maybe I wired it wrong or something, but I had to jettison it from the ship, and I tried to do it in a way that wouldn't damage the other engine, but I couldn't. And I was forced to jettison in and important pieces that I needed to repair the other engine. So hopefully I'll be able to find spare parts somewhere on the ship. But none of that was the worst part of my day. The worst part was letting go. Jane and her brothers and her father didn't deserve this. On to tomorrow. Brian Hazard, sole survivor of the Wretched. Oh, only 2 tasks today. Just taking it on easy street. Okay, what do we got? The 9 of Diamonds. What was Diamonds again? Diamonds is physical structures. All right. Your gravity drive fails. It's a long, slow process dragging yourself over to it with no gravity, and a long day fixing it. But you managed to get it back up and running. I hope. Let's see. I'm going to pull from the tower again. So whereas I had low gravity before, with the gravity drive failed, I've got no gravity, and I've actually got pretty bad heartburn, so really not like to see what would happen with stomach acid in a zero grav environment. I think that maybe using the tower shifting. Oh, God. Okay, that row only has the middle piece. That was probably a silly choice, but okay. And then the other task is the Jack of Spades. Here we go. A creature can survive out in the cold black of space, where nothing should be able to live. Is it coming back into your territory to destroy you, or is it simply defending its domain? Interesting. So, maybe I see it sort of float by a window, and I start reflecting on the fact that, like, why is it here? Is it invading us, or did we invade it? Uh-oh. I can't go there. I'm gonna pool. No. Jesus. I think all of those are bad moves. I'm gonna go with this one. Oh, man. Come on. Nope, can't do that one either. Jeez. Maybe. Okay. All right. It's getting stressful already. Okay. So now I need to record my log. The 9 of Diamonds. Gravity drives, that's right. Day 3. Salvage ship, the Wretched. Flight engineer Brian Hazard reporting. I didn't have much left in me to give, so today I didn't get much done. The gravity drive failed, and if I felt hopeless before, not even having the ability to stand on solid ground will just take every last ounce of hope out of you. When I saw the creature drift by a window, I couldn't do any more. I hope you're coming. Brian Hazard out. All right, day 4. Oh man, 5 tasks again. I have a feeling I'm going to die on day 4. 5 tasks is a lot. Here we go. Ace of Spades. I can't remember if that's good or bad. You find a way to distract the creature from its attempts to gain access to the ship. What is it? And it says, if you've previously drawn the King of Spades, you may shuffle it back into the deck. Unfortunately, what I had previously drawn was the King of Clubs. So no such luck. I find a way to distract it. What would distract it? It should be something horrible, probably. So I jettisoned my family, my uncle, my cousins. Probably we're nowhere near anything, any sort of like habitable planet or anything like that. So I jettisoned them on the last escape pods just as a burial. But I realized that if I jettisoned the other crew members one by one with no escape pod, that the creature would go after them as like food. And it would be a way to distract the creature from trying to get in at me. I don't have to pull from the tower. So that's good. Next up is the Two of Spades. And today you felt like giving up. You couldn't summon any energy. Your tasks weren't completed. Return any cards you haven't yet turned over to the deck and shuffle it. Oh man. Okay. Well, but I do have to pull from the tower. Perfect. Okay. All right. So I return these back to the deck and I need to record my log. Okay. Here we go. Day 4, supply ship, the Wretched. Flight engineer Brian Hazard reporting. Today was another unproductive day. Creature was trying to get into the ship and I had to distract it, so I resorted to desecrating the bodies of my fallen crew members, ejecting them from the ship as a distraction so that the creature wouldn't try to get aboard. And that's all I could do. I made no progress on repairing the ship today. Here's hoping to a better tomorrow. Speaking of which, just one task. Another unproductive day. You know, this version of Brian is lazy. Here we go. 7 of clubs. You know, I can't blame somebody in the situation that this Brian is in. So here we go. Before the creature came, you were in the very early stages of pursuing a relationship with another member of the crew. What was the last thing you said to them and why do you regret it? Interesting. Well, it wouldn't have been any of my cousins. I suppose it would have been a female crew member. And what was the last thing I said? Because it says pursuing a relationship. I'm assuming it was a romantic relationship. But maybe it wasn't romantic. Maybe this was a friendship, because I knew that this crew member was talented pilot, which is what I want to do eventually. And so I thought that I could learn from her. So what was the last thing I said to them and why do I regret it? You know, I think maybe it was something about how, gosh, I got nothing here. It's something about how about this? I wanted to learn from them, but I actually did develop romantic feelings and I told them. And I regret that because we had a really good relationship. And I felt like since it couldn't have gone anywhere since it ended like this, I kind of regret that I tainted the relationship with something other than what it had already been. And that's it. That's my task for the day. So another day where I didn't really do a whole lot of much. So I think this is day 5. Day 5, supply ship, the Wretched. Flight engineer Brian Hazard reporting. I'd hoped that today would be a productive day and I would make progress towards fixing the ship so that I could get back to safety. But instead, I didn't hear from the creature, and it allowed me to spend times with the real monster, which is my thoughts. And I thought about my relationship with the pilot, Sienna. And before she died, I told her how I felt about her. I really wish I hadn't. Not because it wasn't true or real, but because nothing came of it. And it just simply, I think it only tarnished what we had. I'm starting to think I won't get the ship fixed. So this will merely serve as a record of my life and mistakes. I hope you can learn from them. Brian Hazard. Out. Day 6. 2. Jack of Hearts. You spend a day climbing around in the engines, doing basic maintenance, and trying to figure out what needs to be done to get the ship moving again. You end the day as clueless as you began. This is rough. Okay? I'm going to pull from this side. Oh, man. Here we go. Oh, man. 3 of diamonds. After you threw the creature out of the airlock, it spent hours trying to get through the windows of the observatory deck, the only glass on the ship. You fear their integrity has been compromised, so you spend an hour reinforcing them by welding sheets of metal over the inside. Man, okay, so let's go here. Okay, day 6, supply ship, the Wretched. Flight engineer Brian Hazard reporting. Today, I did a lot and achieved little. I've multiplied my isolation. Now I can't even see the stars. I was worried about the integrity of the only glass windows on the ship, so I welded over them with sheets of metal And now there's only blackness, not even the specks of distant light. Then I floated around in the engine room, and I figured nothing out. Probably gonna die on this ship. Brian Hazard, out. Day 7. 3. All right, so I got the 6 of clubs. One of the crew told you all about a terrible dream they had a few days before the creature came. In hindsight, ooh, spooky, they were having a premonition of what was about to happen. Why did you all ignore them? Okay, it must have been somebody who was prone to this kind of thing. Or maybe, we've been on the ship for a while. We were actually nearing the end of our mission. And people tend to get kind of like a space cabin fever, if you will, when we're out on a ship for this long. So it was kind of to be expected. Although this was one of our toughest crew members, actually one of our landing party people, so really physically strong and tough. So it's sort of surprising coming from them, but we thought they'd broken. And then we're just having sort of a cabin fever thing when they started ranting about the sinuous death angel that was coming for us all. We actually locked them on the brig to prevent them from hurting themselves or anyone else. And the brig, maybe that was the first place attacked. I don't know. The next thing was the Queen of Clubs. You spend a day clearing bodies out of a small room that you intend to hole up in if the creature gets aboard again. What was its purpose before this happened? And why were there so many people here when the creature came? So I think it was the brig. And our landing party crew member, Jonathan, we'll say, was the first to have these premonitions. And so he went to the brig first. And then other crew members started having these same kinds of premonitions about this sinuous angel of death that was coming. And so every time it would happen, we didn't know what else to do. We thought it was some kind of sickness maybe at this point. No longer thought it was cabin fever. We thought it was a sickness. So we threw people in the brig. And when the creature came, it was actually trying to get into the brig before it ended up killing others. And it never quite succeeded to get in. But I made the mistake of letting the people out of the brig because I thought the creature had gone and it had actually only been hiding. So when I let them out, I let them out to their deaths, literally the moment I opened the door. So there were easily five or six people in there. And the moment I opened the door, it went in and killed them one by one. I barely escaped alive. But it made me realize that the brig was secure enough to keep it from getting to me. So now I'm clearing these bodies out. And I feel a lot of guilt about my part in their death. Last card for the day, the 4 of Spades. Down one of the long, straight corridors between rooms on the ship, you follow gouges in the walls and floor left by the creature. Describe them and which part of its anatomy you think left those tracks behind. And I have to pull from the tower. Okay. So to review, we had 6 of Clubs, which was the terrible dream. We had the brig full of people who also had those terrible dreams. And we had the deep gouges left by part of its anatomy, which I'm going to say are almost from tendrils that come off of it, but it could control and they had sharp ends. That's my guess. I think this is day 6. Day 6, supply ship the Wretched, Brian Hazard reporting, flight engineer. I think it's day 6. I've lost track of time. Today, because I'm not sure that I will be able to fix the ship, I decided that I needed a solution for surviving as long as I can if the creature does get aboard. So cleared the bodies of those who died because of me from the brig, because it was the one place that the creature didn't seem to be able to get into until I let it in. When I was done with that, I walked through the ship, following paths of gouges and scrapes that it left with its sharp tendrils to remind myself that it was coming, and it was coming for me. But I would be in the brig, and I hope that it can't get to me there. Brian Hazard out. Day 7. 5. 10 of spades. You find something left behind by the creature. Blood or a body part. Or something you can't quite explain. Describe it. Okay? I think, one of its tendrils got cut by a closing door. One of the airlocks, perhaps, as I was ejecting it from the ship. I'd been afraid to touch it until now, but I finally approached it. I noticed that the sharp, what I thought was a barb at the end of it, is actually a human tooth. How did it get a human tooth? The King of Hearts. Okay, so it got another king. I don't think that's a good thing. Okay, King of Hearts. You hear a skittering, scraping sound in the air vent, and you fear that the creature, or something else, may have gotten aboard the ship. How will you make sure you don't attract its attention? Do not discard this card. Place it where you can see it. This is the 4th king. The creature has gained access. It has finally found you. I think that this creature is drawn to sound. I've noticed this because when I'm banging on the hull to do repairs, it inevitably goes right to that source. And so, because I think that it's attracted to sound, I am playing white noise at all times throughout the ship to drown out the sounds I might make. And hopefully that will make it so that it can't find me specifically. Ace of Hearts. After days of trying, you finally manage to repair your distress beacon and activate it. Yes. Ace of Hearts. I love you. Okay. I have to pull from the tower. I'm going to do that now. Oh, jeez. Okay. Oh, man. All right, so I've activated the distress beacon. Do not discard this card. Instead, put it aside and place 10 tokens on it. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to take a 6 and a 4, like so, put those on the card. At the end of each day, after recording your log, roll your die on a result of 6. Oh, remove a token from the card. Oh, that's so much. I have to roll 6 10 times. That's 60 die rolls. I'm gonna die out here, guys. If you successfully remove all of the tokens, someone responds to your beacon. Make a final pull from the tower. The tower stands. You're rescued and the game ends. Record one more audio log as you watch them destroy the creature and dock with your ship. If the tower falls, they arrive too late and stop your ship falling apart in the black. You're dead. The game is over. I have a feeling I'm gonna die. All right. The 4 of Hearts. Your comm system blinks into life, picking up garbled chatter from far-off vessels. It falls silent before you can signal to them. What were they saying? I think they were talking about my distress beacon, right? So maybe they were saying, "Are you picking up the distress beacon out in the Gamma Quadrant?" Sure I am. One of them's country. One of them's from Virginia. Anyway, so I think they were talking about that. I didn't hear a whole lot of their conversation, but I did hear them acknowledging that they've heard the distress beacon. So I'm feeling kind of hopeful that somebody's on the way. Okay. So just to recap, so far I have activated the distress beacon. I've found the tendril with the tooth and have heard chatter. And now the Ace of Clubs. While rummaging through the crew quarters, you found a tool you've been in need of. What was it? The next time you are told to pull from the tower, you may choose not to. Love it. Okay, so I'm going to keep that over here to remind me. And, I think it's the parts that I was missing that I had to jettison earlier from the engine that was on fire. I found some parts that will work to repair the engine, the other engine. So that's pretty exciting. Okay, so this is a good day. Here we go. Day 7, supply ship the Wretched, flight engineer Brian Hazard, reporting. I'm feeling more hopeful, and you might actually be listening. The beacon is activated. It is a legitimate distress beacon. If you're hearing this, please come as soon as you can. My ship is in dire shape, and there's something. And my only hope is that you will come for me. I cannot fix the engines, though I will keep trying. I heard some ships acknowledging that they had heard my distress beacon. I hope to God that they will report it and help is on the way. More disturbingly, I noticed something about one of the tendrils left by the creature. The sharp barb at the end of its tendril. This is crazy, but it appeared, I think it was a human tooth. Brian Hazard out. All right. I am not going to pull the next time I'm told to. Here we go. I'm going to roll for day 8. 2. Not too bad. First, we have a 6 of spades. You find yourself muttering a short phrase over and over again, like catechism. What is it? Oh, man. How about the angels of death are the life that belongs? The angels of death are the life that belongs. The angels of death are the life that belongs. Does that work? It's not really a catechism, but we'll go with it. The angels of death are the life that belongs. And we got to pull from the tower. Okay. Oh, man. I'm thinking, am I on the right? Oh, God. Angels of death. Angels of death. Oh, jeez. Angels of death are the life that belongs. The angels of death are the life that belongs. The angels of death are the life that belongs. The angels of death are the life that belongs. Angels of death are the life that belongs. All right. And lastly, we've got King of Diamonds. When you launched the creature out of the airlock, you couldn't seal it again. Every now and then, the creature comes back to that hole in the side of your ship, scratching and prying at the single internal door that separates you from the cold black of space. How do you react to this? When it comes there, I turn up the white noise, and something about the white noise scares it off. We're on day 8. So here we go. Day 8, the Wretched, Brian Hazard. The angels of death are the life that belongs. The angels of death are the life that belongs. The angels of death are the life that belongs. The angels of death are the life that belongs. The angels of death are the life that belongs. Fun times. All right. So day 9. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Queen of Diamonds. You spend a day taking the engine apart completely and putting it back together again in an attempt to fix it. But you're not sure exactly how to do that, and you suspect that you may have caused more damage than you fixed. Pull from the tower. Do not place this block at the top of the tower. Remove it from the game instead. Okay, so I might actually want to do this because it removes a block. I don't have to, though, and maybe I should. I'm going to do it. So I'm going to put this over there, out of the game. All right. So next, what's up? We got 7 of spades. The creature whispers to you through the ship's comms. You don't know how it does it. What do you hear before you kill the audio? I feel like I can hear it whispering. 2 of clubs. You found the journal of one of your crewmates. What thing from home were they missing the most? Winter and hot chocolate. And this, I think, will be Jonathan, our landing party guy, tough guy, the first to sort of break and start seeing visions of these angels of death. And he just wanted winter and hot chocolate. 9 of clubs. Make a list of the 5 best hiding places on the ship in the event that you need to use them. All right. So there's the brick. There's the, I forget what they're called, but like the tunnels, if you will, throughout the ship. There's inside the engine itself. How about in the pile of dead bodies? And perhaps also in, I don't know. Oh, there's like a stowage area kind of under where they hide. I'm at my log now. So, and I'm going to get to roll my die. Oh, I didn't roll the die last time. So I need to, okay, I forgot to roll the die from last time. So I'm going to roll twice when I do this. But first I'm going to do my log. So, day 9, supply ship, the Wretched, Brian. I've been repeating a phrase, and today I heard it repeated back to me in a whisper through the white noise I've been playing to try and keep this creature from finding me, and it seems to be toying with me now, coming to the airlock, which is not even sealed. I've been trying to play back the white noise to scare it off, but now showing me, I guess, that it's in control. It was able to somehow hack the feed and whisper to me, "We are the life that belongs." Am I worthy of life? Brian Hazard out. Okay. And so I did forget to roll a die last time. So I'm actually going to roll twice. And if either of them are a 6, I get to bring down that counter. So I got a 4 and a 5. No such luck. All right. Moving on. Now I'm going to roll for how many tasks I do. Only one. And it's a 3 of clubs. So the 3 of clubs is you had to use someone else's ID to access an area of the ship normally forbidden to you. Whose ID was it? And what were you doing there? So, I mean, I've already determined that I can get onto the bridge. Maybe the brig, because if you remember, I let the creature into there. And maybe I did it with my uncle's the captain. So I used his key card to get into the brig before. And I'm using it now. Yeah, the brig was off limits because I was not security personnel. So we're on I think it's day 10 now. Day 10, supply ship, the Wretched, flight engineer Brian Hazard reporting. Thank God my uncle gave me his key card before departing. It's the only reason I've been able to access certain critical parts of the ship and survive as long as I have. If he hadn't left that for me, I would have died. Been free of this. I just didn't have his card. Brian Hazard out. All right, so I'm going to roll to see if I get a 6. Oh my God, I did. I got a 6. Okay, perfect. So I get to, right now it's showing 10, so we're at 9. We're making progress, guys. Let's roll to see how many tasks I have. Again, just one. The 6 of hearts. 6 of hearts says, your scanners keep showing a large object that periodically disappears from the screen, only to show up again a few hours later. Is something out there, or is there a glitch? I mean, a large object. I wonder if it's like the creature actually came on a ship, but it's really well cloaked. That's like my going theory, but no way of knowing. Roll. Okay, so here we go. Day 11. Day 11, a supply ship, the Wretched, flight engineer Brian Hazard reporting. I saw it again. That large object on my scanners, near range, it's close. I have no idea what it is, but I have a theory. No evidence. But I don't know how else that creature could survive in space. What if it isn't surviving in space? What if it came on a ship and the ship is cloaked with some kind of technology that keeps our scanners from seeing it, but it's out there? Brian Hazard out. Okay. Not a 6 this time. It was a 4. I roll and I have 5 tasks. First task, the Jack of Diamonds. You lose power throughout the ship, and while you're trying to fix it, the backup generator fails too. You manage to restore power, but you need to cannibalize parts of the backup, which will never work again. Pull from the tower. Do not replace this block at the top of the tower. Remove it from the game instead. That's not good. This part. Maybe I could take this part from the backup generator. There we go. So that is now removed from the deck. Okay. Next up is, guys, the King of Spades. I think this is it. The past few nights, you've been dreaming about the creature. What happens in your dreams? Been having dreams, but they aren't nightmares. The creature has been embracing me like I'm its prize or something. And I smile wide, and then, as if disembodied from myself, I'm looking on at myself with my smile wide while I'm being embraced by the creature, and I can see that the creature has regrown the tendril that it lost, complete with a tooth, and I, in my smile, have a gap where there's a tooth missing. Somehow I wasn't afraid in the dream, but I did awake from my slumber feeling somehow that it was not entirely unreal. And my hand went up to my mouth, and I saw that indeed I was missing a tooth, and I looked up to see the shadow of a tendril looming over me. If this is the fourth king you've drawn, the creature has gained access to the wretched, and it has finally found you. The game is over. And so that is The Wretched by Chris Bissette. I have a mess of tower blocks next to me. I hope you enjoyed it. There were times when I got chills. And if you didn't feel chills from this, totally understandable, because this was my game, not yours, right? But I felt chills. Perhaps because the things that I was saying were like things that were coming into my subconscious, right? So if you take a chance to play The Wretched and experience it for yourself, perhaps you too would feel those kinds of chills. Anyway, this was a cool experience. I hope to play it again or introduce it to some others. But The Wretched, Chris Bissette. I plan to have Chris on the show for an interview at some point in the future, probably after I've played a number of the games that The Wretched has inspired. So thanks for watching or listening, and see you next time.